Hola from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat Sunday Sessions. Happy Sunday. I see I already have somebody here. Hey, Blind Needle. How are you? So good to see you. How has your day been? That's good. Yeah, I'm having my son is over here having issues, so we're gonna see how long we're gonna be on tonight. But we're gonna be on for a little while. We're gonna try. Hey, Silent Army, how are you? Happy Sunday. We're gonna be talking about World AIDS Day in a minute. I just wanna give you guys a minute to get in and me to get myself situated over here. So I can pull up my information. World AIDS Day. Good. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good. So I want to first, before I do anything else, I want to kind of give history of World AIDS Day. So World AIDS Day was designated as December 1st every year since 1988. It is an international day dedicated to raising awareness for the AIDS pandemic caused by the spread of HIV infection and mourning the loss of those who have died from the disease. So today is World AIDS Day, and I, of course, want to give some awareness in regards to it, but I'm also celebrating it because I do have a family member who was HIV positive for most of his adult life. And he just recently died. One of my first cousin, as a matter of fact. Now, one of the things that I do want to talk about in talking about AIDS awareness is I want to talk about the misconception, I think, in regards to heterosexual women who contract HIV in a heterosexual relationship. One of the myths is that usually it's because the man was a down low man, but that's not always the case. It is true that a lot of times there are men who are infected with HIV and they may be flipping the script. I would say probably in the Atlanta area, it might be true there, but overall, a lot of the men who are HIV positive may be men who have come out of prison, and it's not necessarily that they were engaging in sex with other men. Some of these men got tattoos while they were in prison. And so they got HIV positive by the unsanitary nature of how they got tattooed, by the mixing of blood. Thank you, Marlon. I appreciate that. Yeah. He had my cousin lived with HIV from his early 20s until the age of 57. And he contracted it through drug use. And he had become a drug user after having an injury, which, caused him to lose part of his foot. So, but he was able to live. He never ever got full-blown AIDS because fortunately he was able to afford the drugs similar to the ones that Magic Johnson uses. Thank you. That's fine, Marlon. I know how it goes. I enjoyed yours early. I enjoyed your session with the music earlier. I really, really did. That was really, really needed. But one of the things that we do want to talk about, that I do want to talk about in regards to AIDS, one of my beliefs, and this is just my belief. This is from the book of DC. But I believe that it was a man-made disease. I believe that it was cooked up in a laboratory and it was put out there to do something to part of the population. However, I think that the people that created it lost control because it has covered all portions of the population. And on the continent, you have children who are being born already HIV positive, a large number of children that are being born with it because of the spread of HIV and then AIDS through their parents. Their parents are getting it, and they're getting it through heterosexual contact. And, you know, even though we talk about, you know, people using condoms and trying to be safe, the reality is that that's not what's happening, especially with our younger generation. With our younger generation, a lot of them are engaging in risky sex behavior. And what I mean is risky meaning that they're having sex with people without using any type of protection to protect themselves. They're not finding out what the person's status is. They're not getting tested on a regular basis. They don't even know what their own status is. And it is really, really, really sad because you see how much sex is promoted in the media. And on a day like today, when we're thinking about the AIDS epidemic, and it's still an epidemic, you know, there is treatment for it, for HIV. And yes, people can live a long life with HIV. But the problem is that people are still contracting HIV. People are still contracting it, which means there are still people who are either knowingly or unknowingly infecting other people. And again, part of it, I believe, is that people are unknowingly infecting other people because we have a lot of our young people who don't get tested. So they could be HIV positive and not even know it. I'm just looking in the chat, making sure I didn't miss anything. Let me see. Okay, I didn't miss anything. I'm just making sure. But I want to go into some statistics in regards to the minority communities in regards to HIV. So just give me a second, guys. I'm just going to pull that up. Community. All right. I'm getting ready to pull it up. I still don't know how to show stuff on my screen, so sorry, guys. I'm not that sophisticated yet. So I'm trying to get the most updated information because I don't want to get a lot of this outdated information that's out there. Okay, here we go. Let me just pull it up. All right, so in looking at the most affected populations by HIV, approximately 1.1 million people in the U.S. are living with HIV today. And about 15%, that's 1 in 7 of them, don't know they have it. And there's an estimated 38,700 Americans became newly infected within the last 4 years. So we've got a lot of work to do as far as people getting tested. First of all, and also just getting people to not engage in risky behavior that would cause them to become infected. Now I know, like in the situations where you have excuse me, men who go to prison, and then they come out of prison HIV positive, either because of tattoos or because they may have engaged in some, sexual behavior. But a lot of them, it's because they're getting the tattoos, because you've got a lot of men who go to prison and they just serve their time. They're not in there for anything else. But if they get a tattoo and it was done with a dirty needle, then, they come out and they have this, HIV positive status. And while they're in prison, they're not doing anything to help them with it. So they can't do anything about it until they actually get out of prison if they're not a lifer. But it puts them in a very perilous situation, because some of these men are married. So then they come out and they have to come home to their wives, HIV positive. So I'm going to deal with the in racial and ethnic minority populations. Just give me 1 second, guys. I hope this information is helpful to you guys. And I hope it's, just good information. Give me 1 second. I don't want to get, this is not the thing that I wanted. That's not the one I wanted. I'm looking for the right one. Does anybody have any questions about what I've said already in regards to just the information in regards to AIDS and AIDS awareness? Hi, Right Way. Yeah, I'm talking about World AIDS Awareness Day, so I'm just giving some facts in regards to HIV. And I was looking up, I wanted to get some current facts, but this one that I'm looking at is just kind of not what I wanted. All right, so I'll come back to that. So I'll look again and see if I can pull it up. If not, I'll move on to the next one. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that it's really important for people to be tested, to know what their status is. Ignorance is not bliss. It is not bliss when it comes to knowing your status. When it comes to HIV, it's just one of those things that, and we really, really need to make sure that we are educating our young people as well, because they are the ones that really are going around and not finding out their status. There's so many young people that are sexually active and they don't think about the fact that they could get an STD, you know, much less, you know, get something as serious as becoming HIV positive, you know? So just give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can pull this one thing up because it's really bugging me because I couldn't find it. So let me, I had the page. I had the page up and now I can't find it. So give me 1 second, guys. Just pulling it up. All right, here we go. Is that the one I wanted? Nope, that is not it. Why does it keep taking me to that one? It keeps taking me to this one that I don't want. Okay, here we go. This is the one I wanted. Okay, so looking at, I'm just looking at the statistics, just looking at where the highest diagnosis age is. The highest diagnosis is between the ages of 25 and 34. But it's has a close second between the 13 to 24 because we have 13-year-olds who are sexually active. One of my, I can't remember who it, I believe one of my YouTuber friends on here, I believe, is living with HIV, and they became HIV positive the first time that they ever had sex. And I believe that there's this girl that's in the media that the same thing is with her. The first time she ever had sex, she became HIV positive. So it's like, you know, we have these kids that are contracting sexually transmitted diseases that can end their life or change their life, change the way that they're going to live their life. And, you know, we can talk about abstinence and hope that, you know, that is the path that most of our kids take. But the reality is that that's not what's happening. That they are becoming sexually active faster, and they aren't taking precautions. And parents don't talk to their kids about sex. They didn't talk about it when I was growing up, and they still don't talk to their kids about sex. And unfortunately, kids are still learning about sex out in the streets. You know, and it's crazy to think that's still going on. To think that it's not an open subject, even if the parents are trying to be open about it. For whatever reason, the kids are not talking to their parents about it. They can literally, at the under the age of 18, they can go and get tested for HIV, and their parents don't even have to know it, which means they don't know that they're sexually active. They can go get the results right then and there, like 20 minutes. That's how fast that they can get the results. But they're not finding out what their partner's statuses are when they're first engaging with them, and they're not being aware of what their own status is in the first place until it's too late. You know, presently, there is no necessarily a cure for HIV, since, you know, the people who made it whoever they were, did not make it with the intent of it being something that will be cured. Now that, everyone is at risk of it, they are looking for cures for it. They do have things that make it so people live longer, and that, many people never actually have full-blown age, or that their T cell count gets to the point where it is undetectable for them. So, there is hope for people who have HIV, but the issue is that we want to make people aware of it so that we don't have as many people becoming HIV positive in the future, especially in minority communities. As I said, right now, just as I had talked about, in previous things, where the continent of Africa will have the most children by 2050. They're also going to have the most cases of people who are HIV positive. Let that marinate, because that's where the most people are going to be within 30 years. But we need to really come up with awareness, prevention, whatever we need to do so that people aren't doing things that would put them at risk of being exposed to it. Because this is not something you can get a shot for, And then some of the other things are not things that you can get a shot for too. I mean, they can get herpes too. But I want to just kind of focus on HIV because this is the most serious. It's the most serious, So I just really, I didn't want to, spend like a whole bunch of time talking about it, but I really just wanted to kind of make sure that we, kind of had some awareness of this. I know people are thinking about their holiday shopping and everything, and, or people are recovering from Thanksgiving, but, this is an issue that impacts all communities. But it really does have a larger impact on minority communities, especially, people of color. And a lot of it has to do that they're not able to get the same types of resources as people of other ethnicities in regards to the health care for HIV. So on the flip side, we have to make sure that our millennial children are making better choices. I mean, can you imagine what it must feel like for someone, the one and only time that they ever experienced sex, they contracted HIV? A young person. And basically their life is changed forever. I mean, you guys see how our kids are all over social media. You see the kind of pictures that our young girls put out. You see the kind of pictures that our young boys put out. And yes, they are following, the entertainment, the entertainers and the kind of stuff that they're doing as far, as posting pictures. But I mean, they're basically putting it out there that, making it appear, even if they aren't, that they are, you know, ready for the game, you know? And I don't get the thinking that they won't catch it, you know, or that they, you can look at a person and tell that they don't have HIV, you know. Because this is some of the mentality of young people. It's crazy that they even think that way. Let me just look. I was looking to see if I got everything. Okay, as far as gay and bisexual men in the populated that are infected by HIV, Black or African American gay and bisexual men account for the largest number of HIV diagnoses, followed by Hispanic or Latino men, and white men are in third place. But there's been a decrease in the amount of white men who have become HIV positive in the gay and bisexual community, which means they're either becoming more educated, or they're making better choices, hopefully. The African American community has pretty much remained around the same. So we stay in the lead. But in the Hispanic and the Latino community, they've increased the diagnosis by 12%. That's, crazy. Just trying to make sure. So as far as heterosexual, here we go. Heterosexual men account for 7% of HIV diagnoses. Heterosexual women account for 16%. Now, the good news is that within the heterosexual community, there has been a decrease. For women, it's gone down about 8% from what it used to be. So it was a higher percentage. And for the heterosexual men, it also was higher. It's come down about 9%. And this is not dealing with people who, I'm not even dealing with people who are intravenous drug users. I'm only dealing with people based on their sexual activity right now. Now, when we get into the racial and the ethnic groups, African Americans account for 43% of the HIV diagnoses. And we're only 13% of the population. Hispanic Latinos accounted for 26% of the HIV diagnoses. And they're only and they're 18% of the population. So while it's going down, the diagnoses are going down in, people within the white community, it's increasing within people of color. And that's just an overall. That's be they gay, straight, bisexual. So that's just some of the things I just wanted to kind of put out some of the statistics, kind of wanted to give some of my thoughts in regards to it. I know that's kind of like depressing stuff to go over, you know, on a Sunday night right after a holiday, but you know, awareness is key. Awareness is key. And we have to always be thinking about it, because just because it's not something that may be affecting us directly, it's something that affects everyone indirectly, because we all know someone. We all know somebody, and it may not be someone in our family. It may be someone who, you know, we know from work, or we know from church, or we know from school. You know, someone we grew up with. You know, but everyone is impacted by it. I think I ate them all. Sorry. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of get that out there and just kind of go over that, just to kind of, you know, share my thoughts in regards to it, and just make sure that my voice was counted in the voices of the people that are talking about it. Hey, Miss Uppity. Yeah, I had to put all that stuff out there. I mean, hey, Darren, I didn't even see you. I guess I had my head down reading. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of really talk about it. I mean, my major concerns, obviously, with anything like this, is the impact it has on people of color. And as I stated before, the continent with the most people, which is Africa, you have children who are born HIV positive. Large numbers of children who are born HIV positive because their parents contracted HIV. And yes, you know, you have the things that people talk about, you know, the men engaging with prostitutes, but that's not the only way that they're contracting it. You know, I mean, just like you have drug issues on this side of the Atlantic, you have the same things going on the continent. The same ways that people can contract HIV here in the United States, it can happen in Africa. But you also are dealing with a lot less sophisticated, as far as they don't have the same types of medications available. And you have to think about the cost because of how expensive those medications are. And they don't even have access to them because they don't have the funds to get them. So we have all of these children, these babies. So that's what I really wanted to emphasize about, is that we still have a large number of children in this world who are born HIV positive. So that means we have some work to do. That means we have some work to do. Yep. World Health Organization. I mean, I don't know how many of you, there was a movie, it came out a few years ago, that went over the entire thing and as to how, you know, they determined, you know, HIV, and then determining, you know, the person that it's quote unquote started with. But there's just a lot of stuff that went on in that stuff that they held back information for so long. I know, like here in the United States, because they thought it was a quote unquote gay disease, that so many people needlessly suffered and didn't know what was going on with them. Just think about the administration back then. They were just insane. And I don't really see a lot of emphasis outside of the organizations that have been set up, you know, previously in regards to AIDS research. Like, do they think it's going to go away if we don't do research? I don't think so. They're, and they're, even with the advances that have happened, the awareness with our young people is nominal. They still think that it's something that they can't get through heterosexual behavior. But if everybody's slipping and sliding, and we know the kids are doing drugs and they're doing drugs with needles, there's, you know, we have all these different ways that they're catching it. You know, I mean, you have people that are carriers. In other words, they never get this, they contract, they basically have been in contact with someone with HIV, but they don't get it, but they can give the HIV to someone else. You have some people who are that, so they don't even really understand everything about this, and yet and still we got kids who are risking their life for what? 1 minute? 1 minute of pleasure? I'll give it 2. Maybe 2 minutes of pleasure. Does anybody have anything to say? Or y'all just gonna have me sit up here and talk? I'm gonna drop the link in case anybody wants to come up, because that's all I really had to say in regards to that. But I'm gonna drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and share anything that they may have to say in regards to this. So give me 1 second. All right, I posted. All right, I put it in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up, feel free. This is a kind of lazy night, guys. And especially because I've been dealing with some issues earlier with my son. You don't hear him for obvious reasons. How are you, Miss Uppity Unicorn and Darren, you guys? How was your weekend? I'm not gonna make it a long one tonight. If tonight, I just wanted to pop on for a little while tonight. I'll probably be on here for a long time tomorrow. So I'm just seeing if anybody wants to pop up. Ah, there you go.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
How you doing?
I love your avatar.
Thanks. There's a picture of some lawyer that I took from I just did a screenshot, and then I put a face thing on him, man. So
So do you have any thoughts to share in regards to today's, because it is World AIDS Awareness Day? Or did you just want to chop it up on something else, bro? You there? Did I lose you, Darren? I think you put me on mute. I think he put me on mute. I'm trying to say missionaries are largely responsible for the spread of AIDS. Through the world, how do you mean by I'm just reading what you said, uppity. Oh, all right, here he comes. He's coming back.
Man, that's
I
weird.
lost
Man.
you. What happened?
I don't know, man. My StreamYard's been kind of going crazy lately.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna have to pay. I think I'm gonna have to upgrade mine too.
I came in on the tail end of what you were saying about
Yeah, no, I was
HIV.
kind of giving. I gave some of the statistics in regards to the minority community and how as the white community has decreased in HIV cases, we've been increased.
Is
And,
it proportionate?
well, we're still in first place, and our women are have a higher percentage, but the misconception is that they're getting it mainly from down low brothers, and that's not true. You have a lot of brothers who, yes, went to prison, but they weren't engaging in any kind of sexual behavior. They got tattoos, and now they with those dirty needles. There's some of
Yep.
those guys that's what happened with them, but they're coming out with HIV. But because people have this stigma and thinking that that's the only way that a black man could possibly get it, is because is if he was having sex with another man, which is ignorant.
Yeah.
So I kind of dispelled that myth at the beginning of the conversation, and I just really was just going over some of the statistics and really just kind of really talking about the higher percentage of our people who are under the age of 35 that are contracting HIV.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. It's scary.
Well, they don't even get tested.
Yeah, you got to get tested. That's
Ignorance
key.
is not bliss.
No, ignorance is being ignorant. That's being a fool. You definitely got to get tested. So, but yeah, I just wanted to pop in real quick and say what's happening. I saw that you dropped the link out there, so and just say what's up.
Okay, that's what. Okay, that I was waiting for Uppy. Yeah, Uppy's talking about the dirty needles. Yeah, the dirty needles, because that is how Africa is the needles for drugs on the continent. You have people doing drugs.
Yep.
And they're getting HIV, and then they're passing it on to their kids.
Well, I know, like in Africa, they had a thing where they're saying, like, I think it was in Uganda. Mm-hmm. It's a belief that if you have sex with a virgin, if you have HIV or AIDS, if you have sex with a virgin, unprotected sex with a virgin, then that'll get rid of it. And that's how it's being spread even more.
Craziness.
Yeah. Wow. It's scary, man. It's scary. I know, like the other type of STDs are running wild, in the U.S. Like syphilis, like here in Indiana, syphilis is running wild. Then you got the eternal burn, which is herpes.
Yep.
That's scary, man. So
they're spreading it through the vaccinations too.
Yeah, I had one cousin that passed from complications of HIV or full-blown AIDS. So that's all I know. That's that was about 15 years ago.
Yeah, I've had a couple of friends who had full-blown, but my cousin miraculously never he just lived HIV positive.
Yeah. Wow. He's fortunate.
Yeah.
Very fortunate. So.
Yep,
All right, sis. I'm about to dip off.
Okay.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, uppity. I've talked about the vaccinations a lot in regards to autism, but I wasn't even thinking about them putting something else in there besides the MMR on the continent, because supposedly they wanted to depopulate certain sectors of the population, which was the reason why this supposed thing was created. So, oh wow! So the kids have HIV, but their parents don't have it. That's impossible for the parents to have given it to them. In that case, oh, I know it's not overpopulated. They want to depopulate it. It's not overpopulated, but this is to depopulate it. Man, so the kids have HIV, and their parents don't. So they're getting into the hospital. But no, it's not overpopulated at all. It just has the most people on the whole planet, as it should, because it's the largest continent. But I did not know that, uppity. Now I'm gonna have to go look that up. The World Health Organization is not to be trusted, though. They've done more, in my opinion, to make this disease spread in the early stages when they could have stopped it from becoming this worldwide epidemic. That's my opinion of the World Health Organization. You know, definitely my opinion. Let me see. What am I missing? Child, we don't even want to talk about the Catholic Church. As an ex-Catholic, I have a very negative opinion of the Catholic Church. As an ex-Catholic, someone who was raised Catholic. But that is very strange to me. They're covering that crap up. They're covering that up. Yeah. Well, China's issue is that, you know, they have this restriction on people, on how many kids people could have, but now they have a whole bunch of boys. Yeah, they have a whole bunch of boys. They don't have nobody for them to marry and make the next generation. A little bit of a problem for them. A little bit of a problem. Yeah. Africa is still in the colony. They're still colonized, so to speak. They still have too much of a European influence over everything on the continent of Africa. Oh, Blind Nita. I love her name. I love her name, though. Yeah. Hey, Blind Nita. Glad you came back. Still talking about AIDS. Uppity Unicorn is just giving me some information. Yeah, I don't trust the World Health Organization, especially, like I said, if you ever saw that movie that they did a few years ago in regards to when AIDS first came about, and you just see all the craziness that went on with the World Health Organization. They were holding back information, and it was really, really, this should have never been an epidemic. It should have never been a worldwide epidemic. They allowed it to become one. Hey, Terry. Yeah, I know. The Chinese are marrying African women because they don't have no women of their own. They're also trying to get mail order brides from the United States, too. I don't think you like these. These are hazelnut. Sorry. Wow, the Chinese are marrying African women. Now that's something. That's a sight. That's something interesting to see. I know, but that's true. That is true. But our excuse is that we were slaves. I don't know what their excuse is on the continent. It's because the tribes can't come together. Their tribal differences were more important than unifying against the Europeans. And some of them see the Europeans as their saviors, their gods. I've already gone into us idolizing white skin for whatever crazy reason we do. Are you talking Blue Cross insurance? Yeah, well, I don't know about. But they must be desperate in China if they're looking back to the motherland to keep their their civilization together. But they're the ones who they were killing all those girls forever. And then they stopped having girls. So now but okay, so on the continent, because I already think, and this is just my opinion about the vaccinations. Don't quote me on this, so we don't say, but my opinion, and this is based on the CDC whistleblower, that those vaccinations, the bundling of it makes it a higher probability or higher propensity to developing autism in Black and brown. We know that the same bundle of vaccinations that we get here in the United States is the same ones that they use over on the continent. Okay? So if there's a higher propensity, then that propensity would be even more elevated on a continent where most of the people are people of color. And then if they're adding other little extra things into the mix so that we have children that are coming out HIV positive, I'm just shaking my head now. I'm just shaking my head on that one. I'm going to put you guys on mute for just 1 second. Just 1 second, guys. I'm back, guys. But a lot of the situation, I think, in Africa, if they're creating an HIV epidemic on the continent, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. And I wouldn't even doubt it. I wouldn't even doubt somebody has a mind that sinister. I wouldn't even doubt it. You know? That is crazy though, uppity. Now you're gonna have me going looking up some stuff. I already have stuff that I'm looking up. So, Terry, how was your Sunday? I'm sorry, I didn't say much. How was your Sunday, Terry? I just said hi when you came in. I didn't say anything else, and I went right back into my conversation. Because y'all know I don't have a whole bunch more to talk about tonight. I don't. This is going to be a shorter one. I'm still kind of like mentally drained from dealing with the stuff with my son on Friday. So y'all will have to excuse me on not being my normally chipper self. But I promise she will be back to you guys by tomorrow. But I'm only going to be on like for a minute tonight. Normally I'm on for 2 hours, but tonight I'm only going to be on for a minute. Also, I'm probably going to be flipping between StreamYard and some other services for my night ones. Just because StreamYard wants to restrict how many hours I can actually use in a month to something ridiculously low because I don't want to pay for their services. So yeah, I'm going to look at some other services too in case I decide that I don't want to upgrade to the paid service of StreamYard. I'm thinking about just having another backup besides Streamlabs that I do from my phone. Just another one that I can do from the laptop, or just come straight through on the what you call it. I think I can do that one now. Well, no, I can't do that one until I get monetized. But just checking to see if y'all are still there. But I don't really have, like tonight, like I said, I just wanted to kind of get on here and really get into it on World AIDS Day. Uppity Unicorn, I appreciate that additional information that you gave me in regards to some of the things as to why so many children are quote unquote being born HIV positive, because the spin that they're putting out is that the parents have it and that they're passing it on to the kids. So I appreciate you giving me some other insight as to some other things that are also contributing to that number. But I'm not going to keep you guys, on here too long tonight. Like I said, it's just I just wanted to get on here and do a quick one tonight. I'll be on for my normal amount of time tomorrow night, and I probably will pop on at some point during the day tomorrow, just so I can say hi. Just so I can say hi. But I appreciate you guys coming through. Because I know it's the end of the weekend for everybody. And I know you could have been doing anything else besides sitting in here with me. Hey, Terry. So I'm not making this a long one tonight, Terry. Tomorrow we'll go back to our normal programming of being on here for 2 hours. I'm thinking about moving it up to 9 o'clock. I'm thinking about that. Instead of coming on at 9:30, I'm thinking about moving it up to 9 o'clock. But if I do, y'all will know when you get the notification.
Hey man, you gonna start that? You go back upstairs.
See, that's the other reason why we're gonna end it tonight, because we're having issues over here with my son. So, it's all good, guys. It's part of me being a caregiver. It's the caregiver life. It's the caregiver life. Anyway, y'all, I will be back on tomorrow. Until then, everybody, peace from the West Side. And I'm going to do some research on what you talked about, Miss Uppity Unicorn, because I think I'd like to talk about that a little bit more when we talk about some things on the continent as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.